Let's move to the demand side then. So what's your main demand side policy?
Are you talking about policies to reduce demand or...
policies to help people get into the...
yes, help
a lot of
people.
Australians would like to get into the first home market.
Well, it's not raiding your super.
Well, you would know that... Well, we know you don't like those policies because they don't suit your...
Well, it'd be interesting.
Your paymasters.
Well, it's not just
unions.
me. It's a lot of others who say that it'll put house prices up.
It doesn't suit your... Well, that's what the super funds say, but I don't take my advice from the super funds. I know you do.
Where do you get your expert advice from?
From independent
economists. The Liberal
Party. Independent economists. So my question is, what is your main demand-side policy that is designed to tilt the scales in favour of first home buyers? Because there are a lot of younger people that would like to get into this market because it would help them in the long term. So what is your main demand-side policy?
So, Senator, there's two that I would highlight that the government is currently pursuing. The Home Guarantee Scheme, which has several elements, and if you want details on that, I can ask for assistance from my colleagues. And that's right. That's exactly right. It's been a long-standing program, and it's been expanded over the years as well. And the Help to Buy program, which is currently legislation's passed the lower house and is currently before the Senate, and we have the Queensland government has also introduced legislation for Help to Buy as well.
So that's good. I was hoping you'd say that. So it Help to Buy. So this is one of your main demand-side policies. How have these schemes gone at the state level? Have they been popular, unpopular?
So I might ask my colleagues to help out there, but each scheme has been a little bit different over time. So I think it's
okay. We just want the truth.
Exactly
we just want the truth. Yeah, we don't want any of the spin. We just want the truth.
Sure.
Karen Frostwhite, First Assistant Secretary, Housing Division. You're asking how the state schemes have gone?
Are they popular? Are they unpopular? I mean, how many people use them?
We do have some information on that. I think it's been variable. Some of the state schemes that are currently in operation, for example, the New South Wales scheme has a quite narrow and targeted potential cohort, and my understanding is that the uptake of that scheme has been reasonably modest, but it was
reasonably modest.
Yes, I couldn't give you the precise number, but that's how.
Doesn't sound good, does it? Reasonably modest.
It has quite a particular targeted cohort.
All right. How much is this scheme going to cost federal taxpayers?
We expect that the Commonwealth investment over the medium term will be around $5.5 billion.
$5.5 billion?
Correct.
And how many houses will it impact a year? How many people will it benefit a year?
Yep, so 10,000 places are available each year for 4 years.
Okay. And how many houses are needed to be built under the housing targets a year?
Around 240,000.
Okay, so it's not a huge program, is it? In terms of the numbers, it's not. Wouldn't be a material contribution, would it, to the overall position?
And I don't think we want to conflate the 40,000 houses under Help to Buy with the 1.2 million target.
It's an interesting proxy, though, isn't it?
Well,
if you think about the scale of the problem.
It is, but I would say that the Help to Buy program is around helping people into home ownership. It's not designed to stimulate new home construction. That is being achieved.
No, I understand
through other
that,
programs.
but it's an interesting comparison. So 10,000 houses, and how much is it going to cost?
$5.5 billion.
$5.5 billion. And the scheme has been, what did you say before? Relatively modest.
No, that's not this scheme. This scheme.
That Help to Buy. What did you say about the New South Wales scheme? What did you say?
The New South Wales scheme
was
relatively modest up.
Relatively modest. Okay. So I want to ask you
Senator,
about...
I might just say, I think I can see our officials looking a little bit uncertain about the uptake from New South Wales, so I think we might take that on notice and just confirm.
I've got an article here that suggests it's 94% short of its approval target
in the last financial year, and that was in February this year, reported in the Daily Telegraph.
So we will check with the New South Wales government and before we confirm from a media article, but I would also say that's a different program, shared equity schemes can come in a number of different forms. So obviously we're looking at, in designing the Help to Buy scheme, we've looked at a range of different factors to factor them into the policy settings for Help to Buy.
Okay, well, let me ask you a dumb question then. How many states and territories have one of these schemes where the government owns part of your house?
So I think New South Wales, Victoria has had one. They recently announced that they're going to cease that program.
They're going to cease it? It's been so popular they're going to cease it.
You'd have to ask them the reasons, Senator, and I'm not sure if there's any others.
Yeah, Western Australia has had a Key Start program for decades. South Australia has a program.
Sounds like it's a very interesting policy. So I want to ask you about about the caps.
Mm-hmm.
So am I right to say that the Help to Buy price cap in Sydney is $950,000?
That is right.
Is that right?
Sydney?
Yes or no?
For Sydney?
It is right, okay. And do you know what the average, or do you know what the median dwelling price is in Sydney?
Not off the top of my head, but I believe it is more than that.
Okay, so it's 1.1 million. That's the median.
Correct.
For a dwelling, and the Help to Buy cap is $950,000.
Correct.
So can you explain how this is supposed to work, or who this is targeted at?
So the targeting of the program is for low to moderate income earners to be able to purchase a modest dwelling that they would not have otherwise been able to purchase. So it's not unreasonable that those price caps could be beneath the median price of dwellings in a particular place.
Okay, but there's no way you could buy a house in Sydney with a Help to Buy scheme, is there?
Without looking online right now, there will be some homes in Sydney that would be under the 950,000.
Okay. So because we were talking about dwelling before, right? So the median dwelling price in Sydney, 1.1 million. Median house price, 1.4 million. Your price cap is 900,000. So you wouldn't get a house in Sydney, would you?
Well, there's various forms of housing. A standalone large house, perhaps not, but there would be apartments and townhouses and other things that would be more available to the low and medium income earners that the scheme is targeted at.
Maybe. I remind you again that the median dwelling price, not house price, is 1.1. So the cap in Brisbane is 700,000, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And the median dwelling price in Brisbane is 827,000. And the median house price in Brisbane is 920,000. So you wouldn't get a house in Brisbane, would you?
This is targeted to a particular cohort, Senator Bragg. So I think if you're going to run through all of them, the answer is going to be...
I'm making the point.
Well, the answer is going to be the same.
I'm making the point that in public policy, when you establish a scheme,
it's targeted.
The median is usually a decent proxy for what would be the target of a scheme like this. So I'm saying to you that your caps are much lower in fact, apart from in Melbourne, they're lower than the median dwelling in every capital city. So you're not going to get a house with Help to Buy, are you?
Well, this is about getting people into home ownership, and particularly to those on low and moderate incomes. So they're not going to be buying a house or something, at 1.4 million in Sydney. So obviously, if they're coming into home ownership, it's going to be a much more modest dwelling.
So this is your primary demand side policy?
It's one of them. And
so this was announced during the election, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And now we're 2 years into this term. And if this doesn't pass, will you have any demand side policies?
Well, you could help, couldn't you? You could
we don't
stop.
Think it's a good
it's
idea.
The same with HAF. You took a year to let that legislation pass, and you voted against it anyway. So, if we were relying on you and your interest in housing, we would get nothing done.
Why do you think the Victorian government has scrapped their Help to Buy scheme?
Well, that's a matter for the Victorian government.
But why do you think?
Well, I'm not speculating. It's a matter for the Victorian government.
Well, might it be that people don't like the idea of the government owning part of their house?
Well, I think shared equity schemes have been around for a while. Senator Bragg, I accept that it's not everyone's choice, but part of what we're trying to do here is have a range of interventions that cover off different cohorts, and as I said, trying not to leave one area where we're not an active participant in the solution.